Good morning, everybody. That's a little shorter intro than the others I've been using. So I hope everybody's having a great day so far, and that you have a fabulous day all day, because that's what it's all about, life, right? And remember one thing: lying liars lie. Okay, but well, we'll just look at that here in a minute. Hey, Amber, good to see you. Thanks for coming in and jinxing with me about hitting the thumbs up. I appreciate all the likes on this. If you don't like it, go ahead and thumb me down. It's interaction for the channel, so I won't know who did it. You won't hurt my feelings too bad. Excuse me, I had a message. Hey, no more. Good to see you, Salmonella. Yeah, the Zen music. Hey, Replay Rants, I hope you're feeling better. I hope so. Are you? YouTube Detective, good to see you. You caught alive. Yeah. I've been going live at 10:30 the last few days. 10:30 my time catches a few more people, I believe. You feel loads better. That's good, Replay. Every day is better with Replay. If you're catching this on the replay, make sure to let me know in the comments, and just say, hey, I'm watching the replay, or thank you for doing this live, or thank you for being you, Barb. Just saying. Everybody needs a little pat on the back every now and then. I like my pat on the backs, and you don't even have to pay me for them. Okay, how about that? Replay Rants got a snotty nose. Oh, good. Kiki Eyes, good to see you again. I mean, Kiki's Eyes. Crime Sleuthin, hello. Good to see you. Hey, Betty Dan Boop. Hey, Sally Ann. Good to see you. Tell it as I see it. Hey, with double ear infection, are you better, Amber? You're finally recovering. Good, good, good. Good to hear people are feeling better. Life is good. Life in the fast lane and all that. So what we're going to talk about today is how to recognize if somebody's lying online, because everybody knows that there's physical cues and I think that you see in person, and I think a lot of people get these wrong. Like I'll look over. I don't know if people think I'm lying, because like I always look over that way, because my dogs are over here. There's a door, and my dogs are over here, and so a lot of times I look over at them because they're over there playing right now. They had their bath this morning, but then over here I've got my college diploma and just a couple little things on my wall, and I just look at those a lot. I look that way for some reason, but you can't. That is not a go-to thing about lying. Now, everybody lies. I admit I lie sometimes. I don't come on here and lie, though, to y'all. I don't make up stuff that's wrong, and I know that there are creators who falsify what's happened to them, and then they ask for money, and it's not just in this little community. There's people worldwide who ask for money and make up some reason why they need money, and then they don't show the receipts for it. So we're all accustomed to that. Hey, Shalima, but it's hard to recognize lies. It's not as easy when you're online, right? Because you can't, there's no, especially like in a text message or the written word, right? And if a creator is lying and they're on camera, you might can pick up some cues from that. But don't think you're an expert in that, because I'm not pretending to be perfect, but I don't come on here and lie to you guys. And I see other people do that. And it's easy to do. It's easier to do, I'm sure, when you don't have your camera on. So, okay. The lying is out of control. Yeah. And people are just, I mean, sometimes they make things up. And then when you cry wolf, right? So if you make up a reason to get money and then, like it wasn't true, that reason, and people start, they question it, whether they know or not, because we don't know. But then the next time they come in there and they're asking for something, you're going to get more side eyes and more side eyes, unless you're the queen over there, because I don't think anybody ever thinks she's lying. But I mean, I don't think her regular folks ever think she's lying. But anyway, that we're not here to talk about her. Hey, Hummer Muffin. Hey, Toxicity. Okay. So we've got a few videos to watch. We've got some things to talk about. I've got some things that are, yeah, I don't want to show that one first. I said I want to show that one first, and then let's do this one. When people are online lying, there are tips about that too. And we're going to cover that. I don't know if this video covers that particularly. And I'm going to tell you, I went through a period of time in my life where I pretty much thought everything that I was told was a lie. I thought everybody was lying to me. And if you get into the political world where there's division, and then you got somebody over here saying this and over here, and I got in some of the wrong, I wasn't in any like groups or anything, but this has been several years ago, watching stuff, and I just got to a point where I just felt like everybody was lying to me, and I've come away from that a lot. But I think we need to cover this. So let's watch this. This is just a couple minute video, and then we'll talk about it some more. I hope everybody's doing great. Everybody's having a good Thursday already. It's Thursday, right? To look at my watch to make sure. It's Thursday. That's why I don't give money. I buy you a gift because I know you'll use it, but money, no. In my opinion, no one should rely on YouTube for money. That's just my opinion. I agree with you, YouTube Detective, as far as depending on this place to solve every issue that comes up. I totally do. I just going live pays more, and I've noticed just on my advertising revenue that going live pays me so much more, even though I don't get a whole lot of views. I can imagine if you're getting a ton of views, I don't even get 100 or 200 views, and I'm still making more going live than on all of my shorts that I have out here. Hey, Pocket Sand. So I depend on getting paid back for the money that I put into my channel, which is not my time and energy, but the programs that I use to create, and StreamYard and StreamYard, and so I have all these expenses every month, and I finally this month I'm going to get I'm already over the $100 threshold. So no, but I don't come on here. I didn't come on here when I needed a $1,300 crown on my tooth. I didn't come on here when, you know, I was taking Shelby to the vet a lot and I had to put her down. I just don't do that. My problem with lying, Salmonella says, my problem with lying, it pisses me off that they think I'm dense enough to swallow their hogwash. Yes. Yes, exactly. I agree with that. Okay. Let's see what this little girl in the blue sweater says.
If you claim that you never stretch the truth, well, then you're a liar. Those little white lies are being tossed around more often than you think. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Basic and Applied Social Psychology found that 60% of people can't go 10 minutes without lying at least once. And those who are dishonest told an average of 3 lies during that short time span. Research shows our accuracy of...
Wait. I play so much stuff sped up. I thought that was sped up. I'm going to go back because I catch what she's saying, these numbers. Catch this.
That you never stretch the truth? Well, then you're a liar. Those little white lies are being tossed around more often than you think. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Basic and Applied Social Psychology found that 60% of people can't go 10 minutes without lying at least once.
60% of people can't go 10 minutes without lying at least once. Wow. Hey, great, Hummer Muffin. Welcome. Thank you so much for that. Welcome to the family. I appreciate you.
And those who are dishonest told an average of 3 lies during that short time span. Research shows our accuracy of distinguishing truths from lies is just 53%, not much better than flipping a coin. Luckily, there are ways to improve your lie detection skills. The key is to watch rather than listen. First, establish a behavioral baseline. You know how friends, family, and coworkers usually act.
So there's one thing, if you already know somebody and you know you got to get their baseline, right? How does this person usually like if I came on here and started crying and saying I needed help and like I don't do that. I've been accused of coming on here and crying. I've teared up a few times in the past, but I never come on here and cried and asked for money. So if I started doing that, please side eye me.
Deviation from normal behavior is a red flag that something is up. Second, study the eyes. People assume that avoiding eye contact is a sure sign of lying, but researchers say that's generally not true.
See?
Some people are nervous by nature and never look you in the eye, while others will stare you down like a hawk. It's actually the change in normal...
I don't know, but who does that look like? I don't know. It looks kind of like that Legion guy. I just noticed that. To me, it does. I don't know what it is. But you can't judge every person with the same lens. Because and online we can't see. I mean, you can see my eyes if I'm looking at the camera, but not when I'm looking down at my Bill, when I'm looking down at my computer. So, you know, you can't always judge by the eyes.
Normal eye contact or focus that suggests lies are being told.
Third,
look for micro expressions. Tiny cracks that last for only 1/5 of a second, where someone reveals emotions they're trying to conceal, like anger or guilt. When you see a facial expression like this, probe with questions to find out more. Fourth, many people tend to force a smile to cover up deceit. To spot a fake, pay attention to the mouth-eye combo. A truthful person smiles with their entire face, while a liar might have a disconnect between the emotions in their mouth and their eyes. Finally, look for signs of stress in their body language. When our brain is under stress, its temperature rises, causing perspiration on the forehead or upper lip. Other signs of stress: touching the face, foot tapping or fidgety hands, increased blinking speed, and a quicker rate of breathing. So the next time...
And I'm the most fidgety person you'll ever know. So, and I'm not on any kind of uppers or anything, but I'm a fidgety person. So, I mean, I'm not here to say that I'm not lying because I don't lie to y'all, but I carry around a lie detector Well, that one doctor that I had on here that day, he's got a portable ultrasound thing that hooks up to his telephone, his we call them telephones anymore, do we? Hooks up to his cell phone. Showing my age.
Time you suspect someone is lying to you, make yourself a human lie detector and uncover the truth.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me share your content. What? Say what? What, Betty Boop? So that's just a little overview, like a quick overview. And I don't want you guys to, I don't know which one I just showed. Oh, that one. Okay. Let's just look at this one. I'm going to talk for this one, I guess. How to tell if someone is lying to you online or in a text. So it's hard to tell, I just said, on when you can't see somebody. And oftentimes our written words get confused with, there's no inflection in your voice. There's no way to do that in a text message or an email. And people take them the wrong way. Because not everybody's able to distinguish the difference. And so it's just hard to tell on messages on here, the community post or text messages when you're reading, when the people are showing people's emails and text messages and stuff, you don't even always get the whole truth. So one of the things is emphatic language. It doesn't necessarily mean he or she is lying, but rather that he or she really wants you to believe what's being said. This is also the case when a person keeps saying the same thing over and over in slightly different ways. Like I'm doing right now. I'm not lying though. But I keep saying the same thing. I'm just but when somebody just really, I didn't do it. Sometimes that can mean that they did do it, but sometimes it means that they're just fed up with you. So you just can't assume anything. Distant language. In person, someone may unconsciously distance themselves by crossing his arms in front of him. Like that's a cover. In writing, he can achieve the same effect by omitting personal pronouns and references to himself. So, I guess we'd have to have something there for me to interpret that, because I know what they're saying, but I don't know how to explain it. You ask and the other person hedges or changes the subject. Most likely the person doesn't like saying no or doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but he or she may also be keeping something from you. They just don't answer your questions. I mean, I had somebody email me and ask and mention, well, it wasn't really a question. They just mentioned that something, and then I just ignored that question. I wasn't lying. I just no, I'm not going to answer that question. Non-committal statements. Non-committal statements are red flags. Pretty sure, probably, must have, and my least favorite, maybe. They're just not committing. Just not committing an answer to you. Let me see what y'all are saying. Oh, salmonella. Thank you, salmonella. Look at you, 15 months. You've been here the longest, I think, as far as memberships go. Qualifying statements. And here, I just wanted to interject something here. When you have somebody on YouTube who you think lies, and they lie about different things to get money and stuff, I've noticed that they will sometimes show you the receipts like crazy. Like, here's the receipts. I didn't do it. This is dumb. Here's the receipts. And then when other things happen, they refuse. I don't have to prove myself. So I don't get that. Like, one time you're going to show receipts and one time you're not. And it just, and I've got probably a half dozen quick thoughts of, who I've seen do that in the last year, but I'm not gonna name names because I don't that's not what we're here about. But I think some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Um, if you exaggerate what happened and then you show proof of, like, a small portion of proof of that, then how do we believe that that's what really happened? I mean, or you don't show proof of this, but you show proof of that time. I just it's mind-boggling to me. So the non-committal statements again would be, pretty sure, probably, must have, and qualifying statements. To be honest, there's nothing to worry about. I hate to tell you this, are often signals that the person is uncomfortable with his or her next statement. I always thought, when people say to be honest, like, people say that you're not being honest when you say to be honest, but I don't think that always means that. Good Kiki size. Um, yeah, like the hangnail that turned into a broken arm. How often does the government lie? I don't even want to know, Mark. I am really not not too happy with Washington these days. Um so anyway, the next thing, tense hopping. Someone describing an event that happened in the past usually uses the past tense. But if midway through the story the person starts fabricating, that material plays out in his or her head and leads to a switch to present tense. Oh, there's another one. I think it's in another thing I brought up that we'll get to in a minute because it had some things in there that really made a lot of sense to me. Uncharacteristic language. It helps to know a person's baseline behavior, certain words, phrases, and punctuation he or she uses often, and the amount of time he or she tends to take when replying. Pay attention when any of this deviates from the norm. Did someone who is usually chatty and full of details suddenly become curt or vague? Did a quiet person turn into a chatterbox? Those are all signs of people being deceptive. And again, there's a baseline per person. You can't compare me to someone else on the internet or you to somebody else in chat. It's just the way it is. You have to know that person. And I say a lot. I just do. There's a just a second. Yeah, here's this one. Got to get that up. Okay. I think this might be it. All right. 3 signs that someone might be lying. They skip sensory details in a story, like we went out for dinner instead of we went to this really cool restaurant with awesome chandeliers and live music. But not if that person always does that, right? But just it depends on the person. They describe what they did but avoid the word I. The car came so it was too late to call you. They explain something they did but leave out what they were thinking at the time. It was time to go instead of I thought about calling you or waiting, but I didn't want to be left. I didn't want to be late, so I left. Just remember that humans are notoriously terrible at detecting deception, and that calling an honest friend a liar can seriously damage your relationship. If the lie is harmless, it might be best to keep it to yourself. So, like, we don't need to be accusing our friends of lying to us. Now, let's watch this video. It's a TED Talk, and I believe that we can use it with fair use, if I'm not mistaken. We've used one of these before, and this is Pamela Meyer, How to Spot a Liar. She can explain it a whole lot better than me. Because like I said, just a second. I used to think everybody was lying to me. I told a fib but not a lie. Honey, do these jeans make me look fat, right? My brother tells me lying. I ask a clarifying question, and his reply is, huh? Oh, yeah. You're a horrible liar. Yeah, I'm not good at lying. It's just not my first go-to. Like it seems to be some people's. It seems to be their go-to, and I don't. What did I just do? Oh, and it's just not me. I just don't do that. So, da, da, da. I've always been accused of telling too many details. Yeah, see, that would be your baseline, and people need to be aware of that. That's how you are. So your tale might be that you're not telling the details anymore. Hey, Cassandra Troy, good to see you. The huh is usually like I didn't hear you. The huh. Mark, I asked my hubby that once, and he said, "Is this a trick question?" In the words of Judge Judy, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Yes, lying. There's so much effort in lying. I just don't know how people do it. Now, I remember this creator came on. This was back when people were going at me on live streams that I never even had a problem with. And I didn't even know who this guy was. And he was saying that I made a video about somebody. And I, honest to God, did not remember it. I have a horrible memory. I use medical marijuana, as y'all know. And also, hey, Bones. And also, I've discovered recently that those 3 surgeries I had probably took away some of my memory. I showed the video here about how that works. Yeah, they do it like nothing toxicity. But anyway, I swore I didn't make a video, and then I went, there it was, And so if it's something in the past and I'm denying, but I'll come back and say, oh hell, I did, because I have a really bad memory. But do you find the woman attractive? What woman? Mark, are you married? Okay. We're up and we should be running. Let's see what she says.
Okay, now I don't want to alarm anybody in this room, but it's just come to my attention that the person to your right is a liar. Also, the person to your left is a liar. Also, the person sitting in your very seats is a liar. We're all liars. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what the research says about why we're all liars, how you can become a lie spotter, and why you might want to go the extra mile and go from lie spotting to truth seeking. And ultimately to
Cassandra, I know what you're saying, and I actually have a family member who I don't know his mental diagnosis. I don't think he's ever been diagnosed with any of that stuff, but he could lie and but he usually had this little grin that he would do when he was lying. I mean, I think we knew some of his tales even when I was, younger, but Mark's a handsome man. He's single. Mark's single, girls, ladies.
Trust building. Now, speaking of trust, ever since I wrote this book, Lie Spotting, no one wants to meet me in person anymore. No. They say, it's okay. We'll email you. I can't even get a coffee date at Starbucks. My husband's like, honey, deception. Maybe you could have focused on cooking. How about French cooking? So before we get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clarify my goal for you, which is not to teach a game of gotcha. Lie spotters aren't those nitpicky kids, those kids in the back of the room that are shouting, gotcha, gotcha. Your eyebrow twitched. You flared your nostril. I watched that TV show, Lie to Me. I know you're lying. No. Lie spotters are armed with scientific knowledge of how to spot deception.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can't always spot it. All the single girls. Yeah. Well, I'm single, but I don't want to go out with Mark. But I mean, he knows why. We're all a part of Mark's hair. I'm not. I'm not.
They use it to get to the truth. And they do what mature leaders do every day. They have difficult conversations with difficult people, sometimes during very difficult times. And they start up that path by accepting a core proposition. And that proposition is the following: lying is a cooperative act. Think about it. A lie has no power whatsoever by its mere utterance. Its power emerges when someone else agrees to believe the lie. So I know it may sound like tough love, but look, if at some point you got lied to, it's because you agreed to get lied to. Truth number one about lying. Lying's a cooperative act. Now, not all lies are harmful.
See, lying, when it relates back to YouTube, this little corner of YouTube is the people that are going along with the lie, who probably have some thoughts like, really? But on here in YouTube, it's like this mob mentality, the cult, like, I've got your back, and whatever you say. And I think people get away with some of the lies because of that, the powwow groups, everybody comes running in. But I can't lie either, Bones, can't. Hear 'em, scare 'em. Yeah, Cassandra, we went over that earlier in the live. Yeah, that's good knowledge that you already know. She's smarter than me. I heard those lie detector tests are a bunch of BS, and they don't use truth serum anymore. I didn't know they ever did use truth serum. I think I don't know if they're lying is not a cooperative act, only if you know it's a lie and go, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that's not what she said, but if you go along with that lie and you don't question it, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, if you had 4 flat tires, but you refuse to show all 4 tires because you don't have to prove anything, then how's everybody supposed to believe that you're not lying? Because you only proved 1. That kind of thing. Honestly, don't remember telling my last lie. No reason. Maybe when I worked to save a person's job. My friends don't lie either. I think everybody lies a little bit when we say, maybe you say, how are you feeling today? And you say, great. And I'm sitting here. No, if I say great and I'm sitting here in total pain because I've been over the bathtub and gave my dogs a bath and my back is just screaming right now. But I'm going to be cheerful and act like I'm doing really well. But if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to say I'm doing great. But really, I'm not. That's kind of a lie, but it doesn't matter. I worked in an acute site. Oh, wow. I bet you've seen it all. I worked in a behavioral hospital, a small one, and I mostly worked on the children's side. Basically, all I did was babysit kids, and I saw a lot, and that was just a short period of time. And if you did that for 25 years, wow. Hey, CK Warhola, good to see you. Yeah, Cassandra knows a lot. Maybe I should have you up on panel. I lied the other day. People were making fun of my weight at the supermarket. I told them I was 5 months pregnant. Yeah, Pocket Stan, yeah, I'm pregnant. Your 2 besties never lie to you? I don't know. I mean, I'm a believer in talking about stuff, and because my family held a lot, they always want to keep everything secret, and we don't want to talk about that. And so I came out of that with, I'll tell you, I'll tell you the truth. But in everyday conversation, no, I'm not going to tell everybody in the grocery store who says, "Hey, how are you?" Which not that many people do at the grocery store, but you know what I'm saying. Hey, how you doing today? Great. How are you? I might not be great. That's a lie. But it doesn't matter. It's a matterless lie. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
Sometimes we're willing participants in deception for the sake of social dignity, maybe to keep a secret that should be kept secret. We say, nice song.
And how are you going to be friends with all these group of people? Say you're on a YouTube channel and you think somebody's lying, but you're friends with all these people. You're a member of that channel. Y'all are all buddies and you're all running around and you think that person's lying. Are you going to say anything? Because if you say something, you're out. You're an outcast. You're going to get dragged. Everything's going to happen to you. How are you going to do that? You can't. I can't even come on here and say it on my channel without a backlash. So, and it's not just, when I said the tire thing, I'm not talking about any particular people right now. That was just an example that I thought of. You can't be friends with liars. No, I had a friend, my best friend, like in 7th through 9th or 10th grade. Lie. She's just a pathological liar, just made up lies. I was cut out for it. Apparently, I don't take things personally. I have no need to please, but always show respect. Oh, that's good because it's not something that I think I could do, Cassandra. All right, back to this lady.
Honey, you don't look fat in that, no. Or we say, favorite of the digerati. You know, I just fished that email out of my spam folder. I'm so sorry. But there are times when we are unwilling participants.
Hey, Flame. Good to see you.
Participants in deception, and that can have dramatic costs for us. Last year saw $997 billion in corporate fraud alone in the United States. That's an eyelash under $1 trillion. That's 7% of revenues. Deception can cost billions. Think Enron, Madoff, the mortgage crisis, or in the case of double agents and traitors like Robert Hansen or Aldrich Ames, lies can betray our country. They can compromise our security. They can undermine democracy. They can cause the deaths of those that defend us. Deception is actually serious business. This con man, Henry Oberlander, he was such an effective con man, British authorities say he could have undermined the entire banking system of the Western world. And you can't find this guy on Google. You can't find him anywhere. He was interviewed once, and he said the following. He said, look, I've got one rule. And this was Henry's rule. He said, look, everyone is willing to give you something. They're ready to give you something for whatever it is they're hungry for. And that's the crux of it. If you don't want to be deceived, you have to know, what is it that you're hungry for? And we all kind of hate to admit it. You know, we kind of wish we were better husbands, better wives, smarter, more powerful, taller, richer. The list goes on. Lying is an attempt to bridge that gap, to connect our wishes and our fantasies about who we wish we were, how we wish we could be, with what we're really like. And boy, are we willing to fill in those gaps in our lives with lies. On a given day, studies show that you may be lied to anywhere from 10 to 200 times. Now, granted, many of those are white lies. But in another study, it showed that strangers lied 3 times within the first 10 minutes of meeting each other. Now, when we first hear this data, we recoil. We can't believe how prevalent lying is. We're essentially against lying. But if you look more closely, the plot actually thickens. We lie more to strangers than we lie to coworkers. Extroverts lie more than introverts. Men lie 8 times more about themselves than they do other people. Women lie more to protect other people. If you're in an average married couple, you're going to lie to your spouse in 1 out of every 10 interactions. Now, you may think that's bad. If you're unmarried, that number drops to 3. Lying's complex. It's woven into the fabric of our daily and our business lives. We're deeply ambivalent about the truth. We parse it out on an as-needed basis, sometimes for very, very good reasons, and other times just because we don't understand the gaps in our lives. That's true.
Crime sleuthing, yes. If they lie and gossip with you, they'll lie and gossip about you. That's true. You're a severe introvert. I'm an introvert. Offer me a Klondike bar and I'll do anything. I mean, anything. Once you catch someone in a lie, you're best to run, even if it's minor. Yes, once I catch someone in a lie, I'm always going to side eye that person. There's no way. And if it's a big lie, like if you lie about being sick when you're not, like a major illness, like you know what I'm saying. No, I'm never going to believe you again. And I'm not ever going to believe anything you say again. Just, I know that you lie. When you lie, and I know it, not just when I think it, but when I know it. Thank you, Crime Sleuth, and that was a good point. It causes doubt that will never go away. Yes. Yes, it does. It does.
Truth number 2 about lying. We're against lying, but we're covertly for it in ways that our society has sanctioned for centuries and centuries and centuries. It's as old as breathing. It's part of our culture. It's part of our history. Think Dante, Shakespeare, the Bible, news of the world. Lying has evolutionary value to us as a species. Researchers have long known that the more intelligent the species, the larger the neocortex, the more likely it is to be deceptive. Now, you might remember Coco. Does anybody here remember Coco the gorilla, who was taught sign language? Coco was taught to communicate via sign language. Here's Coco with her kitten.
Rosie's crying and she wants me to hold her. Rosie, can you just wait a few minutes?
It's her cute little fluffy pet kitten. Coco once blamed her pet kitten for ripping a sink out of the wall. We're hardwired to become leaders of the pack. It starts really, really early. How early? Well, babies will fake a cry, pause, wait to see who's coming, and then go right back to crying. 1-year-olds learn concealment. 2-year-olds bluff. 5-year-olds lie outright. They manipulate via flattery. 9-year-olds, masters of the cover-up. By the time you enter college, you're going to lie to your mom in 1 out of every 5 interactions. By the time we enter this work world, and we're breadwinners, we enter a world that is just cluttered with spam, fake digital friends, partisan media, ingenious identity thieves, world-class Ponzi schemers, a deception epidemic. In short, what one author calls a post-truth society. It's been very confusing for a long time now. What do? Well, there's steps we can take to navigate our.
This is a very, very old video from 2011. So that's why the political references are so old. There's many we could use currently for what's going on in our country, the U.S. Wait, why'd she skip 9 to college? I don't know.
Our way through the morass. Trained lie spotters get to the truth 90% of the time. The rest of us, we're only 54% accurate. Why is it so easy to learn? Well, they're good liars and they're bad liars. They're no real original liars. We all make the same mistakes. We all use the same techniques. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 patterns of deception, and then we're going to look at the hot spots and see if we can find them ourselves. We're going to start with speech.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work.
When I met Bill Clinton, he didn't lie to me. We didn't really talk, but we shook hands. I had my picture with him, but he didn't lie to me. So, but no, this is a good example.
For the American people. Thank you.
Okay, what were the telltale signs? Well, first we heard what's known as a non-contracted denial. Studies show that people who are overdetermined in their denial will resort to formal rather than informal language. We also heard distancing language, that woman. We know that liars will unconsciously distance themselves from their subject using language as their tool. Now, if Bill Clinton had said, well, to tell you the truth, or Richard Nixon's favorite, in all candor, he would have been a dead giveaway for any lie spotter that knows that qualifying language, as it's called, qualifying language like that, further discredits the subject.
His mouth was moving.
Now, if he had repeated the question in its entirety, or if he had peppered his account with a little too much detail, and we're all really glad he didn't do that, he would have further discredited himself. Freud had it right. Freud said, look, there's much more to it than speech. No mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips, and we all do it. No matter how powerful you are, we all chatter with our fingertips. I'm going to show you Dominique Strauss-Kahn with Obama, who's chattering with his fingertips. Now, this brings us to our next pattern, which is body language. With body language, here's what you got to do. You really got to just throw your assumptions out the door. Let the science temper your knowledge a little bit, because we think liars fidget all the time. Well, guess what? They're known to freeze their upper bodies when they're lying. We think liars won't look in the eyes. Well, guess what? They look you in the eyes a little too much just to compensate for that myth. We think warmth and smiles convey honesty, sincerity, but a trained lie spotter can spot a fake smile a mile away. Can you all spot the fake smile here? You can consciously contract the muscles in your cheeks, but the real smile's in the eyes. The crow's feet of the eyes, they cannot be consciously contracted, especially if you overdid the Botox. Don't overdo the Botox. Nobody will think you're honest.
Yeah, if you have Botox, and you can't, nothing moves anymore. So, Botox. Anybody in here ever had Botox in your face? I don't know. I might need to get some Botox. Yeah, it was. And it was, it depends on what the word is, right? And he was, it was semantics. But he did have a thing with her, and it was a thing, but he was trying to word around it. Nope. Nobody has. All right.
Now we're going to look at the hot spots. Can you tell what's happening in a conversation? Can you start to find the hot spots to see the discrepancies between someone's words and someone's actions? Now, I know it seems really obvious, but when you're having a conversation with someone that you suspect of deception, attitude is by far the most overlooked but telling of indicators. An honest person is going to be cooperative. They're going to show they're on your side. They're going to be enthusiastic. They're going to be willing and helpful in getting you to the truth. They're going to be willing to brainstorm, name suspects, provide details. They're going to say, hey, maybe it was those guys in payroll that forged those checks. They're going to be infuriated if they sense they're wrongly accused throughout the entire course of the interview, not just in flashes. They'll be infuriated throughout the entire course of the interview. And if you ask someone honest, what should happen to whoever did forge those checks? An honest person is much more likely to recommend strict rather than lenient punishment. Now, let's say you're having that exact same conversation with someone deceptive. That person may be withdrawn, look down, lower their voice, pause, be kind of herky-jerky. Ask a deceptive person to tell their story. They're going to pepper it with way too much detail in all kinds of irrelevant places. And then they're going to tell their story in strict chronological order. And what a trained interrogator does is they come in, and in very subtle ways, over the course of several hours, they will ask that person to tell their story backwards. And then they'll watch them squirm and track which questions produce the highest volume of deceptive tells. Why do they do that? Well, we all do the same thing. We rehearse our words, but we rarely rehearse our gestures. We say yes, we shake our heads no. We tell very convincing stories, we slightly shrug our shoulders. We commit terrible crimes, and we smile at the delight in getting away with it. Now, that smile is known in the trade as duping delight, and we're going to see that in several videos moving forward, but we're going to start. For those of you that don't know him, this is presidential candidate John Edwards, who shocked America by fathering a child out of wedlock. We're going to see him talk about getting a paternity test. See now if you can spot him saying yes while shaking his head no, slightly shrugging his shoulders, lots of
I'd be happy to participate in one. I know that it's not possible that this child could be mine because of the timing of events. So I know it's not possible. Happy to take a paternity test and would love to see it happen.
Are you going to do that soon? Is there somebody that you can't?
I'm only one side. I'm only one side of the test, but I'm happy to participate in one.
Okay, those head shakes are much easier to spot once you know to look for them. Now, there are going to be times when someone makes one expression while masking another that just kind of leaks through in a flash. Murderers are known to leak sadness. Your new joint venture partner might shake your hand, celebrate, go out to dinner with you, and then leak an expression of anger. And we're not all going to become facial expression experts overnight here. But there's one I can teach you that's very dangerous and that's easy to learn. And that's the expression of contempt. Now, with anger, you've got two people on an even playing field. It's still somewhat of a healthy relationship. But when anger turns to contempt, you've been dismissed. It's associated with moral superiority. And for that reason, it's very, very hard to recover from. Here's what it looks like. It's marked by one lip corner pulled up and in. It's the only asymmetrical expression. And in the presence of contempt, whether or not deception follows, and it doesn't always follow, look the other way, go the other direction, reconsider the deal, say, no, thank you, I'm not coming up for just one more nightcap, thank you. Science has surfaced many, many more indicators. We know, for example, liars will shift their blink rate, point their feet towards an exit. They will take barrier objects and put them between themselves and the person that's interviewing them. They'll alter their vocal tone, often making their vocal tone much lower. Now, here's the deal.
Do you ever notice somebody who had like a YouTube person who comes on and they're just always angry and loud and everything, and then they come back and they're like, and then we went to, and then after that. So you can tell some of that. It doesn't mean they're lying, but they're not being their usual self. Is sort of like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you're not your angry self anymore? I don't understand. For migraines and stuff, I see that, Hummer Muffin. I was kidding. I'm not getting them. I don't know if it would help my neck pain, but yeah, I would definitely love to have some pain relief. They whisper for significance. Yes. Yes, it's a change, and it's something that you can notice that, and hope it helps you. Yeah, I hope it helps you. Yes, his wife was I think it was breast cancer. It was either that or ovarian or something, but yeah, his wife, she did pass away, and he was out there. Oh, good, Hummer Muffin. Wait, right there. Yeah, his wife had cancer. And look, he had this thing, and then he's like, that's not my baby. Well, it was his baby. Oh, did I get knocked off? Oh, I'm back now. I'm back now. Yeah, I was restreaming that, and they took that down. So I played a TED Talk before, and they didn't do that. So you're okay. So I'm back. Okay, well, sorry about that. I was really enjoying her talk, and no, it was just a copyright thing. I don't think I got a strike like I did that other time. I hope not. See, this is why I don't want to stream other content, but how else am I going to share that with y'all? Okay. Well, we're back. We're back, and that was interesting. I wish we could here, I'll put this I'll put the link in when we're done, and y'all can go watch it if you're interested. I used to never know who's going to say no, you can't show that, and who says you can. Let's see. 10 ways to tell some. Did I already show this? Let me read, because I'm not showing anything else. I don't want to get. I don't want to get a real strike. I mean, it is copyright, but fair use and all that. Well, here's just a few little things that I've got here. Let me see if everybody's still, are we okay? Everybody good? I binged it. Oh, you do? Well, go watch that one because I got a copy. Well, it was a copyright. They'll get the advertising for my stream or whatever. That's fine. I'm not worried about it, but I just don't need any strikes on my channel. Like I did that other time when I was streaming something. It's frustrating. Let's see. 10 ways to tell if someone is lying to you on the phone. Repeating words and phrases or stammering. If you know the person on the other end of the line pretty well and you know they don't usually stammer or repeat themselves often, then when they start to do this, there's a good chance they are concocting a falsehood. Also, if somebody's talking real slow, they are trying to come up with a story, that kind of thing. When attempting to make a lie on the spot, people often stammer to buy themselves more thinking time. Additionally, when a person attempts to convince someone of something they know to be untrue, they tend to emphasize and repeat certain words and phrases. For example, repeatedly using the word well at the start of a sentence can signify that a liar is preparing you for an answer they think will be different to what you're expecting. Unnatural pauses. Abnormally long pauses before answering a question can also indicate that someone is being less than honest with you. Again, the keynote there is abnormally long pauses. Abnormally. So if I'm always saying like I do, then that's not a lie because that's just how I do. But if I'm normally, you know what I'm saying. Lying is a complicated business, and it can be difficult for the liar to recall what they have already said. So unusual pauses can indicate that someone is trying to think of something convincing to say. Throat clearing. Excuse me. Lying can be stressful, and when people are actively engaged in speaking untruths out loud, their bodies will often react by releasing fight or flight stress hormones. One potential aspect of this physical response is a dry throat. The moisture that is usually present in our mouths can suddenly dry up, and for this reason, a liar will often need to clear their throat or swallow hard before speaking. Doesn't mean every time somebody swallows or clears their throat. It doesn't mean that as I swallow. Somebody who inserts a lot of ums and ers at the end of their conversation could well be telling porkies. Just like pauses and stammers, these meaningless vocal fillers, not local, can buy a liar a few more seconds to get their story straight. To be completely fair, though, many people do this when they're not lying too. So although ums and ers are not hugely reliable indicators, they may be relevant when detected in combination with one or more of the other audio cues on the list. We're going to come back just a second. Let me see what y'all are saying. I thought fair use was a thing. Yeah, Cassandra, you just, it's hard to say what they're going to do that for and what they aren't. I wonder if a certain time frame of being, it might be because I was pausing a lot, but then I was playing. Maisie, like, evidently you're not supposed to ever show a video ever, because I don't want to lose my channel over that. So, I mean, I don't know. Barb told me the Razorbacks would be good this year. No, it wasn't a lie. I was lied to, Mark. I was lied to. It wasn't my fault. I wish the dining room was bigger. I would love to have it. Oh, we're talking about something else. The Ducks are doing, can't think of one creator that has long pauses. Yeah, I know who that is, Salmonella. I don't know. All right, we got a few more to go over here. Convoluted stories. When conversing with someone who is lying, a question to which a brief, concise response would normally be expected will often be abandoned in favor of a convoluted story with a detailed narrative arc. This technique is used as an attempt to convince the questioner by distracting them with unnecessary information and complicated explanations. However, this misguided belief that a long-winded answer will be more convincing often backfires on the liar as all the finer details begin to unravel further down the line. I don't know. Have you ever seen anybody lie and then they come back and their story changes, or you think they're lying and their story keeps changing? To me, that's a trigger that something's not right. If I said I broke my left arm and then I came in with a cast on my right arm, I mean, you're not going to get that confused, right? But I mean, that's an extreme example, but it's still just little things like that will trigger me to think somebody's lying. People who lie will often try to confuse you by switching their demeanor suddenly and unexpectedly to provoke an emotional response. For example, by flattering or complimenting the person on the other end of the phone, a manipulative liar can deflect the conversation away from themselves while making the other person feel more sympathetic towards them and more likely to believe what they say. Similarly, a person who suddenly turns hostile during a conversation, particularly if they also start using defensive language, knows that this tends to unsettle and upset the person they're talking to. People experiencing confusion and emotional turmoil tend to lose their train of thought, meaning that the lie gets glossed over and the original issue is forgotten. Well, I lose my train of thought. Doesn't mean I'm lying. You're down to 2K. Are you betting on it? People with autism say I'm a lot, but it's not because they're lying. It's just difficult. Yeah, that's a whole different thing. I don't believe I've ever lied. No more. Come on. I think that was a lie. Pause every 4 minutes for well, I don't think I was running it for more than 3 or 4 minutes, but I think the terms of service says you're not supposed to show anybody's video. So I think that's what the whole thing is. You're not ever supposed to show anybody else's content. Change the subject. This is a very common technique, usually used to deflect attention away from whatever thorny issue a person feels the need to lie about. Many liars hope that by driving the conversation out of the field of deception and onto safer territory, I can't pronounce words today. It's territory. The person they're conversing with will forget about the issue altogether. If this doesn't work, changing the subject can also operate as a delaying tactic, giving the liar more time to concoct a convincing story, conniving story at that. All right, let me see. Mark, I have so much fun. Oh, autists have very different, unusual speech patterns. Yes. It's a whole different way of spotting lies and we're just different. That's why the baseline matters, because what is a give for me might not be the same for the next person, or won't be the same. You would bet on the Hogs, but you're going to horse race on the phone, but you're going to gamble on the phone. I don't know what you're saying. Mark, I'm so oh yeah, you're talking about. Okay. Excessive superlatives. What the hell does that mean? When somebody litters their conversation with superlative adverbs such as completely, absolutely, totally, and literally be on your guard. People who lie often resort to these types of words unconsciously when lying, but they tend to proffer these exaggerated responses in an attempt to sound more convincing. Repeating your question back to you. Another detectable tool, and again, none of these are for every person in every conversation. They're just some things to watch for. Another detectable tool is the liar's arsenal. Repeating someone's questions back to them buys a few more valuable seconds of thinking time. It can also help the liar gauge how much the other person already knows. so they can, tailor their response to that person. Qualifying truthfulness with exaggerated phrases. If someone feels the need to emphasize that what they're saying is totally truthful, then they may be lying. For example, phrases such as, to be perfectly honest, I swear, in all honesty, and if I'm being completely truthful, can be red flags for lie detectors. So there's just a whole bunch of lies that are told and ways people do it. And it's just something that we all need to be aware of. And coming on YouTube and internet gambling. And saying that somebody's lying when we don't know. I don't want people to be accused of lying when they're not. But at the same time, if somebody lies, we don't need to let them get away with that. We don't need to back them up for that. If somebody's lying, especially if it's a really big lie or it's a lie for money or just such a big fraud, we don't need to support that person. We don't need to. We need to back off and try to figure out, if that's an ongoing thing, because nobody wants to be lied and manipulated to. We just don't want to be manipulated and lied to. I didn't say that right. And you shouldn't gamble, Mark. Don't you know? You can go over here, Mark. You can come where I live, and we can go over to the we can go to the horse races if you come at the right time of the year. But they have the TVs in there with all the different horse races and stuff going on. Yes, some are professional liars, and there's always a little bit of truth in a lot of lies. There's little bits of truth in lies. It just happens. It's just the way people are. And so, having said all that, I hope that maybe our eyes were open a little bit. I'm disappointed that the TED Talk got shut down because I was getting a lot from that. I'm going to go back and rewatch it at some point. But and I'll put that in the description. What do y'all think? Has anybody learned anything today, or felt like government officials are liars? Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna say about that is not all of them are, as far as telling lies that matter. But I think government officials, YouTubers, YouTube subscribers, Facebook people, we all lie. Well, some of y'all say you don't ever lie, but I'm just going to say that those are like little white lies, and I definitely tell white lies. Oh, thank you, Betty Damboot. Thank you. I just found it. Well, first of all, I found the TED Talk very interesting. I just wish they wouldn't have taken it down, because I learned from that. And I want you guys to, if I learn something, let's let y'all learn. See if y'all can learn something, because isn't that what life's all about? That talk kind of debunks some things I always assume were true for liars. Yeah. Yeah, Amber, good. So you got something from that. I heard Amber say 1 second and that didn't I learned Amber said 1 second and that didn't happen. Second. I don't know what you're saying. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap this up for today. And it's been fun. I enjoy you all being participative in the chat. And what else? The members who re-upped, and the members who are members, and the people who aren't members. And I appreciate you all, and I appreciate you just coming in for my lives every day. We're trying to build up this live stream part of my part of my channel. Oh, it was 1 minute. Oh, anyway, y'all have a great day, and I will see you soon in the morning, tomorrow morning for sure. And y'all behave on here, and don't give all your money to people who are lying to you. Don't do that. If you do that, I'll see y'all tomorrow, and be kind to yourself. Bye.